race. However, I believe Elminster had some technical issues, and so both of them decided to postpone race 2 until today. And as I mentioned before, if they do go to game 3, it'll be right after this one. But let's see how this one starts. As we have the uncle. First chest gives us all the silver arrows. Well, that'll be very nice for them once they find their bow. Quick map check from Datlossit shows us a blue crystal in Eastern, red pendant in Desert, and a red crystal at Hera. So now we're going to see what item they start with. We know it's not going to be a sword because the uncle didn't have a sword, but it could be any of the other 6 items. And they get the hammer. Probably the second best starting item because it doesn't need any ammo and it does tempered sword damage. Hitbox is a little weird, but for these runners that's not an issue at all. And we also get a power glove. These guys have gotten some really good options to start this race. I believe now we do have Yuta Mystic in the call with us. How you doing? Oh, I guess they're still having a little technical issue on the side. Sorry about that. So we're going through escape. They've already got a hammer, they've got a power glove, they've got the silver arrows. They find a moon pearl in escape. They're going to have Dark World access before leaving Hyrule Castle.
Holy frijoles, Dark World access before the rain state's over.
Okay, there we go. There's you, the Mystic. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Sorry about that, folks. There's some weirdness with my audio devices. Thankfully, you guys all sound good. JP always sounded good on the mic. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for joining me as well. So you've probably seen we've gotten 3 big items so far to start this race.
Yeah, so the Moon Pearl I saw. What else? We have the hammer and the power glove.
And we haven't got
silver arrows.
We haven't got Moon Pearl yet, but that's if we get that, we'll have Dark World access.
Oh, okay. I jumped to conclusions here, but still, power glove, hammer. I mean, those are amazing things to find. So, you know, anything through Kakariko Village would be really handy.
Yeah, and we, like as mentioned, we have the possibility of having Dark World access before the rain state ends, before we leave Hyrule Castle.
One of those weird situations that, you know, people programming this game were probably like wondering, hey, is that possible? I guess it is.
So I think the other item we've seen here so far is the map. So we know that we'll see a key. Oh, okay. This has been a very nice scene to these guys. What's it gonna do to them?
Well, I mean, there's always a possibility for a last item at pedestal, a last item behind Trinex, behind the ice rod. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for this stuff.
I mean, basically we've seen 4 key items plus a map, which we have to see, so... Yeah, this is going to be very interesting because that flute gives them a lot of easy travel. Does open up Death Mountain a little bit too, but without the hookshot or the mirror, we can't do much up there.
Could you imagine if they found Bo and made the decision to go to Eastern Palace instead?
That's a very big possibility. Eastern is a crystal, so no bow in Ganon's Tower tile room this time.
Thank goodness. Yeah, 22 item locations, and that happened to not be the big key, but the bow itself. I guess it was a pretty big key item.
Technically, it was 23 because they did check the big chest too.
Oh no. Well, it's certainly not something you have to say too often, the 23rd item in Ganon's Tower. Of course, you know, there actually are more than 23 items total. There's the 3 or 4 locations upstairs as well.
Yeah, 4 locations upstairs. 27 total in GT. We only really care about 22 most of the time, though. And that 27th location, the big key chest, we rarely ever see anybody open.
Yeah, certainly not very often. Now, in an MG speedrun, maybe. I mean, if you're a scrub like me.
Yeah. There's a piece of heart. I think I might have had my items mixed up because I think they already had a small key, so They haven't seen the map yet.
Yep, so still a possibility that we could see the elusive 3-second time save in Sanctuary. That being said, nobody has a bomb yet.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Nobody has found a bomb. Will Elminster... Now, they both have power gloves, so they might both decide, I can just come back whenever I want.
Yeah, so the pressure's definitely off, and if you can find, you know, any kind of resources elsewhere, say extra rupees, you can just buy bombs and come back here.
Yeah, it looks like Elminster's not worried about this for now. Datlossit's gonna try to farm some bombs here. No, he just had a couple extra rats. He's not gonna worry about it either. So, we'll see what these two like to do as they go forward when they decide to come back here. And actually, chat did confirm they did pick up the map, so,
yeah,
there are 3 items in that room that leave them behind.
In that case, shoutouts to Sanctuary Piece of Heart.
Elminster gives us his map check, same as we've seen.
Also, this is a pretty common opener for most people running this logic. You know, we're going to head west here out of the Sanctuary and get some information. Whether or not we check the actual Lumberjack Cave remains to be seen, but most people will pull on the tree here, get their tier 2 pull. Ooh, 20 rupees, wow.
And there's a bomb. Still need a few more, though.
Yep, and we've got the bush crab here to check with. Since it's silver arrows, that's actually not that bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't use those until they get the bow, though. Just rupees and lumberjack, so we will not need Aga for that. So I like this route they're doing when you come out of escape and you don't have bombs, because it gives you a couple extra opportunities to farm bombs and get that information on the way. If I'm not farming bombs, I tend to like to just go straight into Lost Woods.
That makes sense. And, you know, the extra opportunities to farm bombs, maybe just find them. Both of them have found one, actually, at the same spot. I think it was with the Cukeman.
Yep.
Or the Pickle.
They'll still need 2 more bombs to get through escape. Elminster sets up another tree pull to get more red rupees.
Yeah, not too hard to get 4 kills at this point. He knows where they are. This is normally part of a rupee rather than an energy run. So setting that up and getting extra cash makes a lot of sense here.
I guess that's technically vanilla. So like, head down to the thieves' hideout here. Just find 50 rupees.
Yep, more welcome cash. We don't necessarily have to have it at this point, but it's pretty good. It looks like both of them got a second tier too.
So they're both going to go into Kakariko with 1 bomb. I would not be surprised to just see them go right into the Blind's hideout and just see if they get lucky and find a 3-bomb chest in here.
Yeah, certainly a pretty good opportunity here. There's 5 chests that we can check, so given that, you know, while we do find a lot of progression early on in Kakariko, decent chance of finding them randomly and not having to spend the money.
Blue tunic. There's some bombs. There's more bombs.
I wager that there's more than a likelihood here.
Yeah. So in terms of actual key items, though, we get a blue tunic, which is nice for protection, though it's not progression.
Yeah, with only 3 hearts to work with, and pretty soon I think another one if we find another piece of heart or maybe 2. You know, we still need every little bit of defense we can get. Although both of these runners are definitely capable of executing well enough. Remains to be seen if any deaths will play a factor here.
Yeah, gotta be careful, definitely, especially if you hit the Dark World. But there's a 4th heart that helps. More rupees, arrow upgrade, and bombos. We'll have to see if that bombos is needed later on. Bottle vendor has a small scam as Elminster goes to activate his flutes. He's using a little bit of NMG strats here by standing on the left side of the statue. The bird will go off screen earlier, saving him a few seconds.
You know, honestly, I just thought it meant that he was going to skip powder. Speaking of which, folks, if you like NMG, that's actually finishing up. The Game 2 of the Finals Best of 3 series is Tuesday at 9.
It took me a minute to get that comment there, but yeah, when runners don't skip powder, I guess they do go to the left side.
Yeah, they do that to set up that spin speed, but I usually just activate from the southern portal because, you know, I die a lot.
Nice bottle pickup there. That'll let them go right in the sick kid right away. And what does that sick kid have? I gave him part of his allowance.
Well, that's his med money, I think. I'm not sure that sick kid's getting better anytime soon. We might see him in the next seed.
Yeah, I don't think he's been out of bed in 20 years.
You know, his nap percent world record, though.
That's true.
Well, looks like more bombs for Elminster. Plenty of cash to do so, and it's not too hard to get more cash now that we know what the tier 2 is. It doesn't take very much farming to get it, so see no reason not to buy the bombs. Datlossit has 4 and is feeling pretty comfy with that. Doesn't elect to pick up more.
Red potion in the library. Unlikely they'll come back for that, unless they just happen to be passing by and really want the safety.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that they will, but I mean, there's definitely a good convenience to that.
So, Datlossit saves and quits. Elminster flutes. That'll save him a little. I see what that Datlossit's doing. He's going for the back of escape.
Yeah, we've got the bombs now, and you could easily head east from here, so no reason not to.
And he might just be feeling a little pressure because he didn't find bombs on escape. He's thinking, if there's something back here, my opponent might have found it. Let me go check it quick so I don't leave that behind.
Yeah, it's even easier to feel that way if you've killed a lot of rats in your escape, because, you know, then you think, oh, I just didn't get the prize drops.
Unfortunately, the back of escape didn't really have anything.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Blue boomerang in the dam, and I'm just gonna pick that up.
I like his taste here. He has he believes in the best meringue.
Yeah, definitely the better of the boomerangs, and it's a nice pickup, especially if you're an NMG runner, because some of your strats really do use that.
Yeah, we might see a like a swag dash in the basement of Tower Hera. That'd be pretty sweet.
So Datlossit's going for Agana. I feel like maybe he might be making more gambles here.
Well, being down 1-0 on the series, and oh my goodness, he probably shouldn't have, because there's a Cane of Samaria, a Moon Pearl, and a lot of cash in the Generous Thieves Cave. Holy moly.
That was a good pickup. Dead picks up some more rupees there. But yeah, that's Darkwood access for Elminster. And he's gonna go make the check down here, get his love, and head out.
Yeah, so with access to the Dark World, this opens up in a lot of ways, but there are different things that he could choose to do if he wanted to. You can flute up to the mountain if you'd like to, check that. He doesn't have a hook shot, though, but with a hammer, no mirror, I don't know if I would do that. Possibly go to Village of Outcasts or Skull Woods.
Well, yeah, the mountain wouldn't be a great play right now. You only have access to one location in Logic. Probably a play into Dark World right now is your best bets. Unless maybe you can go to Saharsla, but can't finish Eastern. Let's see where else. Oh, I think he was thinking about going somewhere, but he decides that he's probably going to go for Hide Cave. Go for item density right now.
It looks like Datlossit also appreciating better boomerang. He's going to pick his up from the dam here. So yeah, Elminster is making the item density play, as you mentioned. I'm curious to see where this is going to take him, whether this is going to take him all the way to, say, like the dig game, or if he's going to head towards Palace of Darkness.
We got our map check. Green pendant, Turtle Rock, blue pendant, Skull Woods, and our other red crystals at Palace of Darkness.
Interesting. So that may influence a choice to go towards Palace of Darkness.
Let's see what our Hype Cave has today.
Not looking too promising so far. Cash, pieces of heart. Not even a Sankart. Elminster fully losing on that one.
Yeah, that was not hype.
But I mean, he has a 5+ quiver upgrade. That's not bad, right?
Okay, Elminster is going to check the mountain. Now this is out of logic, but he can get the item in here.
Ah, yes, using the Cane of Samaria to see where he is standing in the room by holding the block over his head. Very nice luminescent device there.
Yeah, it's something that you pick up as you go along, knowing that you can do that just to help light your way.
If you like damage boosts, you can try the same thing with a bomb, but you might fall down a few holes.
No, Datlossit finds another 300 rupees. He's going to be swimming in rupees.
Is that a inclination to go to Zora?
Well, we'll see. He's going back to 8s, so I think he's going to go to Zora. And Elminster finds a sword.
Yeah, it looks like our grandpa had the sword today, not the uncle.
Very nice pickup for him. There's one more item. He can see one item, and then he can get one other. And Datlossit's going to do the sequence breaks here to check some of these swimming locations.
Well, it looks like bombs on top of Spectacle Rock. What's going to go on inside, though? It's going to be the lamp. Interesting. So there's our dark access, and this is technically all in logic, so Elminster could have got that sword just maybe a step later.
Yeah, and he's going to pick up that lamp because it is a fire source for now. If he had the fire rod, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't pick it up, but without the fire rod, it makes sense to grab it now.
And looks like the hobo under the bridge had just our bug net.
Yeah, that gives them fairy options if they want to.
Yeah, they do have a bottle. I mean, could definitely take advantage of that if they're not feeling too great, you know, later on in a dungeon.
The other nice thing about Elminster coming up here is he gets his save points for easier warping out of save and quits. And it looks like he's going to go for the Dark World now.
And at the same time, Datlossit's going to check the Waterfall Cave, remembering that with the Moon Pearl and Fake Flippers, you do have to exit and re-enter the cave to arm the Water Walk, getting a big 20 and some bombs. Not really paying out, but probably going to check Zora while he's here.
More than enough rupees to check Zora. And of course, the Zora check is in logic because they have power gloves.
The walking on water itself, definitely not.
That's very true.
If only we had boots, this would be a very comical scene.
So Elminster is going to go to Skull Woods. This is a pendant, but it is items you can potentially get easy access to.
Yeah, with only 2 in the dungeon, it doesn't take long to check, and you can pretty much full clear it fast if you need to.
Oh, and Zora has Quake. We don't know if we're going to need that yet. So maybe a good pickup?
I'm kind of surprised to see the Quake monster in the light world.
Yeah, I think he left his circle in the Dark World and found the spare portal.
Well, we're bending time and space in this seed so far, and you know, we haven't seen that bow. There's still a chance we get a 2-peat and have another one in. Oh no, it can't be in Tower Room. We talked about that before. It's Eastern Palace Crystal.
Eastern and Pod are both crystals, so yeah, we are not gonna see a bow in GT. But Elminster sees a Titan's Mitt in Skull Woods.
What an amazing find! Like that's about the best place you could have found it for how quickly he went there.
That's going to open up a lot, and it's going to give him access to Mire. Gives him access to East Death Mountain once he gets either a mirror or a hook shot. Technically, he could go into Ice Palace right now if he wants to sequence break, but that's not anything that anybody wants to do ever early.
Yeah, certainly not with our loadout, but I mean, Bombo said that is technically on the table. Would you want to do Fighter Sword Cold Stare, though?
No, not really. I mean, get the hammer. At least you could do it that way, but it's not much better.
Bear Grylls strats just going right in the middle of the wild.
Now, Datlossit's heading north. Is he gonna do a pod check? Or is he just gonna check pyramid catfish?
Yeah, definitely those. Well, maybe not catfish, but probably catfish. And then I gotta think Palace of Darkness makes sense from where he's going. I mean, we know that Titan's Mitts is, you know, over on the west side of the world, but there could still be a lot of progression over here as well.
Now we do need a bow before Palace of Darkness is fully in logic. Just a piece of heart on the pyramid, as Elminster's gonna go through Thieves Town. Now with the hammer, with blue mail, this is not gonna be too bad of a dungeon for him.
No, health-wise, we're looking okay. Elminster's done this with one less mail upgrade plenty of times. And of course, it doesn't matter what sword upgrade we have. It makes some of the enemies harder to deal with, but the boss itself doesn't get any better or worse besides the size of our sword hitbox.
So yeah, Datlossit going for catfish. I just feel like he's playing more of a gambling game. Some of his checks, which maybe he feels like he has to do with this. I think we've seen all of our 300 rupee stashes at this point, too.
Pretty sure you're right on that one. I think we've seen, what, 6?
5 or 6, yeah. Let's see if this pays off for Dat.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Zora pop out of here.
Oh! Very nice. Now, the Fire Rod is technically maybe not needed for this seed, though. Because we do have Pendant Turtle Rock and Pendant Skull Woods. It could still be needed for Ganon's Tower, though.
Hey, needed or not, we're happy to see that Paradox Rod. I don't know how he kept that aflame underwater, but Quake Monster, or I guess his Zora Imposter today, certainly seems to understand how to break physics.
So both Zora... Well, we don't know if Zora paid off yet. We won't know until we see what Myers' medallion is, and potentially Turtle Rocks. Datlossit went and picked up a potion. Is he thinking about a Skull Woods dive?
Could be thinking about a Skull Woods dive. If he doesn't end up using it, it works out in Palace of Darkness for a camera manipulation glitch. Pretty smart routing if he ends up not having to use it.
So, just a rupee being guarded by the grasshoppers. I don't think those are really grasshoppers, but that's what I think of them.
Grasshoppers, crickets, you know, I don't have a better name for them, honestly. But so, chat pointing out that Datlossit doesn't have a sword to finish Skull Woods, but can eliminate every item except for Mothula himself. So, I mean, pretty decent odds to find the other item here.
Alright. So we've got Datlossit heading through Skullwoods. Elminster's finishing up Thieves Town.
Yeah, having not too many issues here in Thieves Town, despite the relatively low equipment. Elminster's clearly done low percent, I think. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that he made a remark once in the Discord saying, why does everybody claim everybody's a low percent runner? So I just had to say he did it, just because, you know. I'm pretty sure he actually does, though. But so Blind itself would be a pretty straightforward fight. Datlossit's about to pick up those Titan's Mitts here, though, and using the Cane of Samaria to great effect, not having to deal with as much of those mummies.
Alright, so we'll Datlossit head to the back. Nope, he's done in Skullwoods for now.
Looking like a pretty straightforward, you know, textbook blind fight so far from Elminster. Yeah, that's about as good as that's gonna get. Yep.
Oh, and there's a hook shot. So So that opens up a lot of Death Mountain.
Yeah, and having only lost 2 hearts here in Thieves Town, despite having a sword, just a single sword, Elminster's going to be moving on pretty fast from this dungeon. Datlossit could complete the dungeon with a Canis Samaria for blind, which would be a great way for him to get his hook shot at this point.
That's right, he hasn't been up to Death Mountain yet, so he has not gotten the sword. I'm just going to finish up these checks down here first. He's probably going to check this south hut, go to Digging Game, go to Stumpy, and then he'll most likely save and quit after that.
Well, our bombable shack today just has a big 20, at least getting our return back on the value of our bomb.
So... oh, he's gonna go check the peg game.
And of course, without the boots, this is pretty slow to do, but you just gotta do it sometimes. It's available to you.
Yep, it'll be a very nice payoff if there's something down here.
I think it'd be hilarious if it was boots, but I'm not that optimistic.
I don't know if I've seen boots down here.
Like, that'd be an insult.
That was red, but that was not boots.
Yeah, my heart rate jumped for like 1/10 of a second there. Also, we still have the smith chain to do, but without a mirror, that's kind of annoying to do. Elminster's opting to go towards the race game, or the dig game first.
Yeah, I think... I would not... well, yeah, he's got to go for the dig game first anyway, because if you bring a follower here, the guy will not let you dig.
He doesn't even like it if there's a follower anywhere in the world that you've left behind. Also, I had no idea you could dig this space directly behind the actual the guy here, like right next to him in between those fence posts.
I think... I could be wrong on this, but I think the game counts basically anywhere you're digging while the timer's going.
Oh, so you can go downstairs and dig.
I could be wrong on that, because if that was true, actually, then I think runners would actually do that. Maybe
yeah.
So I could be...
Well, I mean, you never know. Nobody might have ever thought of that. I'm considering testing that out after this, but in the meantime, Elminster does get his item and is moving onwards.
Yeah, he picked up the full hearts. Not surprising. At this point in the race, full hearts probably worth the time. Part pieces are not worth it. I think I might have inspired all of chat to try that now.
I mean, it might just be hard-coded a certain way, but we don't actually know whether or not. I mean, I've never tested that, and I don't think JP has.
Yeah. I know I've seen people digging outside of the game, but maybe that was just after they found the item, and then they just kept digging.
Yeah, possible. I mean, we don't have our actual shovel to test it right now, anyway. Well, we're gonna flew back to return the dwarf. Thankfully, the world tour is actually more of like a, I don't know, a jet plane. You know, ride right back home.
Yep. So Mr. probably gonna drop him off, then he might head back up to Death Mountain and see what he does. Not that loss is continuing through Thieves Town. Whoops, threw the bomb the wrong way. And Elminster actually took a 5 rupee loss there.
Yeah, that's the unlikely life lesson, but sometimes it happens.
Elminster's gonna go for Maya. This is probably good. You'll get a little bit of information. He actually could clear Maya right now if he wanted to. If it's Bombos to get in, I should say. Nope, it's Quake, which we got from Zora, so no scam from Zora today.
Yep, absolutely required. So thankfully we've had a ton of rupees to work with. That's not going to be a concern whatsoever. We're going to find our first shield here, though, Fisher Price edition, and 10 bombs from the Misery Mire Shack.
And yeah, now Elminster is going to go for the Eastern Death Mountain play. Probably right up to Hera and then Dark Death Mountain. I mean, let's see what you got here. You got 7 items in Paradox, 1 in Spiral, 2 in Para, and then another 6 on Dark Death Mountain. So 16 item locations you can get, plus another 1 you can check on the floating island.
Well, so here's the Paradox Cave coming up here for Elminster, and Datlossit's about to fight Blind, I'm presuming with Canis Maria.
You could go with Kane, you could go with Hammer. Either one would work.
Yeah, Hammer's gutsy, but he hasn't switched to anything else, so it looks like, yeah, Hammer fight.
Gotta be a little careful, but shouldn't be too bad. Elminster gets a green potion and a red meringue. Oh, there's a Master Sword and another green potion.
Wow, so I think we know where all the bottles are then. The library holding the last one, right?
Yeah, you're right. That's all 4 bottles, so we know.
Wow, Datlossit pulling off a pretty hectic finish to that blind fight. It's a very difficult fight if you don't have a sword, compared to having one. But with hammer strats and putting himself in the right position, does manage to take down blind for that hook shot.
So Datlossit has his first crystal. We'll see how long he decides to wait before what he makes, or we'll wait to see what his next move is.
Yeah, we definitely know that it would be helpful to him to go up the Death Mountain and pick up his 2 swords now that he has that hook shot, but it may take him some time to do so. Elminster, though, is diving into Hera, now has the access to do so.
Full clearable. Basement not needed yet.
The yet, of course, being a pretty big caveat here. We don't know what's in this just yet.
That's our first item. So 1 item, and you've got 4 locations it could be in here, so 25% chance of basement.
And in the meantime, Datlossit's going to have a bad financial transaction here and going to get some heart for his money, but thankfully has more than enough to spare. We're just going to lose some time, really. Thankfully, losing nothing on Elminster because he did the same.
Okay,
Judging by those sword slashes, do you think he was a little upset that it took him more than 1 try to get that set up?
Maybe a little. So we found a key and a compass, so now we're 50-50 of basement.
Yep, we've got a moldy worm to take care of. Ooh, nice bumper strats to move a little faster through that room. A little laggy room, though, so probably lost frames anyway, but...
Alright, he's got the hammer out. He might go for hammer and Moldorm. Yep. Could also do Master Sword spins, but I mean, personally, I like the hammer too for this. It just feels a little nicer. And our other item is in the basement.
Well, thankfully, we do have that lamp.
Yep. Both runners will be able to get it, as Elminster has the lamp and Datlossit has the fire rod. Yep, and Elminster's not going to leave that behind. He's going to go in and take his break.
Yep, half an hour into his shift, the Union does demand that he takes a 10-minute scheduled break, so he's going to have to oblige them.
He's already got the lamp out. He might not be he may not be going for the strats here today.
Yeah, I wish he had boots right now. He could probably show his nice boom dash.
Yeah, there he goes. He's got his glitch set up.
Yeah, so if you're looking at a screen wondering what in the heck is going on here, when you're standing on pegs like a switch like that, and you hit the switch and you're standing on top of them while they're active, you're going to be in invincibility frames constantly until you move off of it.
There is a little risk to setting this up in that if you get stuck in between two pegs, like right in that corner, you could get stuck and have trouble getting out. But you set it up perfectly there, and that's kind of insulting.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling. And if you don't have mirror, you have to save and quit. Really frustrating.
So Datlossit checked. He found a Quake for Meyer. Unfortunately, since he doesn't have a sword, he can't go in.
I'm kind of wondering what Elminster's doing right now. He could have saved and quit out of this, so...
He's gonna go probably do Spiral Cave and then head to Dark Death Mountain.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, Spiral Cave. I thought you said Spike Cave for a second there, but yeah, Spiral Cave is where he's heading now. And looks like Datlossit's gonna get his first sword here with the old man, or his grandfather, you might call him.
He's gonna use a boomerang to find his way.
It would appear that Elminster has jumped into Pump Cave.
Definitely could take care of that, advantage of that pumping here.
Pumping so hard, you're wondering if his controller's even going to function after this.
Just a heart piece. And my guess is Elminster will use the south portal here, unless he really wants to open Turtle Rock, if it happens to be Bombos. But with Turtle Rock being a pendant, you really kind of don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, that's hopefully outside of our, our selection. But, I mean, we can go through it. I mean, it's not like we can't if the right side of the main hub room early on isn't required.
Datloss is doing a little bit of a traditional route here. He's going to see the lamp. Now, for him, the lamp will be optional to pick up. We'll see if he does. Okay, he's going to pick it up. If you don't feel confident in your dark rooms, it's definitely worth the time grabbing it.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. Even if you do feel okay with your dark rooms, you can save some time. This doesn't take forever to pick up. The only thing that stinks about it is you have to kind of take a long way back or do a somewhat difficult bomb jump, which it looks like Datlossit's about to try.
Oh, we got Boots in Hookshot Cave. And Half Magic. You know, Datloss pulled off a nice bomb jump there, too.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could do that with holding the bomb above your head, but today I learned, and that was a pretty good-looking bomb jump overall. Only took a few buffers to set up.
I missed the check on Turtle Rock. Did you catch that?
No, I did not. Sorry, I was looking at chat.
Let's see if I can have the rescreen. It's Bombos.
Wow, good timing. Check that. So Bombos is going to be a medallion we needed for it. We both have it, so they can go into Turtle Rock, whether or not either of them choose to. It seems a little unlikely to me right now.
Well, it's going to be more interesting from Datloss once he gets up there. See if he decides to potentially dip it. Elminster, though, is going to use those boots and check some of the boot locations.
I see in chat question about, setting up or doing pause buffers when you're setting up a bomb jump. The reason we do that is because you can advance the game by exactly 1 frame if you have good timing. And you can kind of just mash the pause button. Mash the pause button until you have the lineup that you're looking for. You can see it by pixels on the screen. So it's commonly used in this game, also in many other games, although it has different applications depending on what you're playing.
So Boots checks didn't yield anything for Elminster. Now, we're kind of in a weird little situation here. Elminster's going to go for Saharsala, which we have not seen yet.
Well, I mean, what do you think Scooby-Doo's gonna have today?
I don't know. I think he might have piece progression. Maybe he'll have that bow.
I think that'd be hilarious.
Because right now we're kind of like looking for a house we can complete. I guess technically Meyer could be that. We can actually Datlossit can full clear Meyer. And I guess technically, if you willing to sequence break, you can do ice.
Yeah, those flippers haven't turned up yet, and I'm kind of curious. I mean, we haven't seen anything important through flippers. We did get the bug net on Datlossit's side doing the hobo check. Zora had the quake that we needed, but the ledge was worthless. So I'm wondering when we're going to find these flippers. We still need them for Swamp Palace.
So I'm just going to make the plane the pod. A little longer without the mirror, and without the bow, there's no guarantee he can finish it. But he does have 2 potions, so he could use a glitch on the bow sides to advance if needed.
Yeah, but it's a fun little quadrant glitch related to rooms that are on what we call the same super tile. So the game kind of loads a certain amount of the screen in at a time. And if we mess with the camera, we can trick the game into thinking that there's some mimics that are dead that aren't. And this will open a door for us, hopefully. Elminster's definitely going to do it if he needs to check in this dungeon. I don't see a single reason why he wouldn't, but he could prove me wrong. This also could be a bow in this chest.
That would be very interesting.
Also, did he just hammer dash through that skull pot and not destroy it?
Yeah, that's something I've seen a couple times. It basically, you hit the switch and smash the pot in the same frame. The pot doesn't actually smash.
Frame rules.
But the first chest was a small key, so he can logically go in. Meanwhile, Datlossit gets hit by Moldorm and falls off.
We have a question in chat about pumping. Well, so NMG runners always will, but I mean, it's pretty minor time save. You know, you're going to get it most on staircases and in water. So, I mean, you might save in an NMG run 10 seconds over a run. It's not that big of a deal, but it can help you in a few specific screens.
There's our ice rod. So, with fire rotted catfish, that puts Turtle Rock fully completable.
So the dream of a bow behind Trinex is still alive, folks. Here we're going to get that potion manipulation glitch, though. Elminster is going to kill all the enemies in this room, spam lamp a little bit so he can use this potion. He'll use the potion as he transitions to the left half of the super tile. This will unlock the camera in this room, and when he grabs the wall to move the red mimic against this pot and pull the green mimics to the other side, the room will think they're all dead.
I think he's trying to get them all off screen without... Yeah, there he goes.
And there you go, that's camera manipulation glitch.
Well, no break for Dat. He missed his timing, and now he's got to dodge the tiles.
Seems like he's setting up for a death warp here.
So needed bow to get to the big key. So the big key is the only thing that would be out of logic technically right now.
And of course, if we find something in that big chest, that's definitely ooh, we're getting some. Is that a spooky action setup? No, he was just kicking a block. I was really confused by that for a second.
Unfortunately, these beetles are giving him a little bit of trouble. Datlossit got his green rupee and he's heading out.
Yeah, I really got to admire these golf strats from Elminster, though. I mean, like, if he got the block to actually hit with that, that would have looked really sweet.
So,
alrighty, going downstairs. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So with 2 keys, if he gets another key down here, that south chest would be needed. Nope. Okay, so that harmless hallway chest will be just another small key. So you'll skip that one.
Sounds like he's got good key logic in this dungeon like you do. I definitely don't, so I'm glad that you know exactly how that configuration works.
Yeah. If you count your keys right, you can know exactly which chests could have keys and which ones couldn't. Technically, that's the other chest you can know that with is the vanilla big key chest. So, Elminster, got one more chest you can check in here. We know this will not be the bow. Could still be a big item.
And today it's just going to be the ether, which we do not need for any reason whatsoever.
Yep. So, that sequence break did not pay off for him. And I think he's death warping because he's going to go do Pyramid and Catfish.
Yeah, despite the routing not working out, with the sequence break, he did finish the completion of that relatively quickly. That could have taken a lot more time. So, I mean, if Datlossit does check that in logic, he'll probably gain a little bit of time, but I don't think it'll be, a crazy amount, not more than, say, a minute or so.
Now, Datlossit's opening Turtle Rock. We don't know if he's going to go in yet. He's just opening it. But he does have everything he needs to get through most of it. He can't full clear it because the ice rod's in the pop. But if he were to find the bow or a mirror or something in Turtle Rock, I could shift this game significantly.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious when Elminster finds his fire rod if he's going to jump into Turtle Rock. I think Datlossit may have made that decision if that was available, if that ice rod was already in his possession.
We'll see what Datlossit does. He's going to pick up these 6 chests first, which makes sense. You can find something that's going to help you out in there. Elminster is going to check Catfish, which will be good for him. He'll pick up his fire rod. Yeah, I mean, if you're a runner at this point, I don't know what you do. Technically, you can't get in the swamp. Ice is not in logic. You could full clear Mire. Neither runner is... Oh no, Elminster still can full clear Mire. He has not been to Zora yet.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a mirror to make this routing convenient, which really stinks. If he had a mirror, this would be perfect for him.
So that's where Datlossit has a nice little advantage right now, is how long does it take Elminster to find that weight?
And having just picked out the boots advantage is now gone, so Datlossit's heading into Turtle Rock, catching up quite quickly in regards to progression right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, since Pod didn't really have anything, that ended up costing Elminster some time.
However, we know for a fact that if Datlossit wants to go all the way to Trinex, this will be a double dip, so I don't think Datlossit would come back here. If something was on Trinex, that would be gigantic for this race.
But look at what Elminster's doing. Is he going to make the Turtle Rock play? Yeah, I think he's going for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, our logic definitely points pretty well to it. I mean, a lot of it's available to us. We don't really seem to need anything else to do this, except for the Ice Rod if you want to get Trinex for Datlossit.
Well, the other thing is it's his green pendant.
That's why I'm so concerned.
Yeah. So that's 2 items behind Trinex.
I mean, I'm definitely used to seeing bow behind Trinex, but what if it was bow... Ooh, mirror. That's a great find.
That's really good to find because now you know you're not going to have to leave Mimic Cave behind. But if Trinex or that green pendant has something, this is Elminster's race pretty much. That's assuming Elminster does full clear it. He needs 2 bombos slow to get in.
Yep, sometimes you just miss that pixel. No big deal, though. Definitely has the half magic to get through that. So it's interesting, though. If Trinex or Green Pendant have nothing, though, Elminster may end up wasting quite a lot of time in this dungeon.
Yeah, this is a critical moment in the seed right here.
Also, it almost seems like both of these runners have the same gamble to make, but with different implications on each end. I mean, one could potentially miss items from, you know, the pendant and, of course, the boss itself, and the other could waste quite a lot of time on doing those exact same things.
Now, here's something else to think about. With finding that mirror, the pedestal is in play. And there are a couple items that can be on it. I think logically, bow and flippers can be on the pedestal.
That seems correct to me, unless there's some kind of... we haven't done any sequence breaks that would prevent us from saying that, yeah. Oh, there's flippers, though, in the vanilla big chest, or the big key chest here in Turtle Rock, so Datlossit finding that out for us.
So actually, that's definitely going to put things off. That's nice to find, because with the mirror and the flippers, that means that Turtle Rock was at least needed to be dived, because now they can full clear Swamp Palace. And they can technically full clear Ice Palace, too. So, coming out of here, you're going to have 3 crystal dungeons you can do.
Now, of course, they've taken the time to come up all the way up here, and it looks like both of them do want to, well, at least Datlossit has at least shown us they wants to continue checking items here. Elminster may end up leaving when he finds his flippers. We're not sure yet.
I mean, it's a tough call, because it is such a long climb if you leave something behind.
Some smart routing from Datlossit to make sure to check the big key chest. I'm sorry, the big chest before coming into Mimic Cave. Potentially, you could find something like, say, the ice rod that would keep you going.
And just bombs in Mimic Cave. So I think the only thing we absolutely need to see at this point for us to be in no mode is that bow.
Yeah, by the looks of things, I don't see any other requirements that we'd be missing. Of course, if you don't find that bow for a very long time, and if we don't find that book, it may be a really long time before we find out when no mode is.
Well, we've still got Laser Bridge plus one more chest here. Elminster's Trinex and Green Pendants. And yeah, I mean, with finding so much in here, they're not going to do any more pendant dungeons for a while. I mean, you've already cleared out the Skull Woods. You could potentially mix Desert in if you do Mire Dip.
And having boots and the fire source, it's not going to take forever to check. But if you probably only do it if you go to Mire, though. I mean, there's really no other reason to be over there. Alrighty, so we got our laser bridge check here, 4 items total. We got a piece of heart on the first item. Interesting, a big 20, and Datlossit just nopes out of there.
He must have been counting his items. Well, one of those was definitely a key. I guess maybe we hadn't seen a mirror or a compass yet, or a map or a compass yet.
Yeah, and if so, one of them would have been on Trinex and the other would have been on that bridge.
Let's check with Elminster when he opens his map, or his inventory next. Yeah, that's good item counting for Datlossit if that's what he did. Yeah, he's gonna check a couple the ledge here, and these are gonna go in the swamp. Ooh, Elminster's gotta be a little careful. Okay, yeah, I saw no map, no compass on Elminster's side, so the last 3 items that Datlossit left behind were the map, compass, and small key.
It looks like Datlossit's remembering to check the mirror lock locations. Elminster down to half a heart. Gotta watch himself here.
No safety either. So he's gotta be very careful on Laser Bridge.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him take the door, but then again, he also might not at all, so I mean, it'd be gutsy.
He's got a bomb out. He's going for that door. He might even have to go... Oh, he's got to be careful.
Almost deboosted himself into the bomb.
I wouldn't be surprised if he kills himself right here now, just to get that starts back.
He could just 4-for-4 his laser burst skips, though.
Now we confirm that Datlossit didn't need to go down there necessarily.
Oh, the clutch health refill.
Very nice.
I don't need no stinking door. Well, I bet you Elm probably feels a little, not great about that, having just gotten himself safety. But, I mean, laser bridge skip, you take a lot of damage from those lasers, and if you only have half a heart, you can't take any.
Yeah. But Elminster is going for Trinex, so he'll get the green pendant. There's one item behind this.
Well, backdoor hammer strats here for Elminster. It's a gutsy Trinex fight.
Yeah, you gotta know the hammer strats for Trinex, because it definitely could... The seed definitely could require that of you.
Wow, fast 2 cycle for having Master Sword. Holy moly.
Quick Trinex fight. Elminster will grab a compass and a green pendant.
I'm kind of curious to see what Datlossit's going to find here in Swamp Palace, though. We knew that this was going to be a compass for Elminster on Trinex, but his green pendant, I mean, if he checks that right now, we could, you know, get the real hype immediately following check, but Swamp Palace has a lot of items.
So far, first 2 items are both rupees. 4 items left, though. I'd be very surprised if Elminster doesn't go check that green pendant right away. Alright, this is a big moment. If this is the bow, it's Elminster's race to lose. That's, I think, the only thing it can be that would really, really change this race.
Yeah, and if it's not the bow, then he's probably lost a fair amount of time here.
Not the bow.
Bomb bag upgrade. Sahazrula, or Sriracha sauce as I prefer to call him, maybe Saharshalarsh. Not being a friend today.
Now that pendant could still come into play, but we still, with so many crystal dungeons to check, that's going to be on the back of their minds for a while.
We seem to have some witches in the chat, people who are literally guessing the bomb bag upgrade before we called it.
So Mister's checking Hobo. We'll see if he goes up to Zora. If he does, he'll get his Quake. So I think he might be thinking Ice Palace right now. Got Datlossit on his Argus fight with Master Sword. It's 2 swings per buff.
I really like that you try to do the fast kill strat with the Master Sword. It doesn't work, but I mean, doing the poke dash with the hook dash is kind of funny to watch. It's really cool, but you gotta have the Tempered Sword.
And Elminster is going to Zora. He'll get his Quake.
You know, now I'm wondering if Datlossit, like, practices the Zero Cycle Argus, because this is literally the hardest fast kill to do.
Very nice kill by Dat. Now, there's still items left behind. Will he go back in?
Well, we're seeing even more predictions for where that mirror might lead us, or at least where we're going to find the bow. Checkerboard Cave's been offered as a possibility. Nobody could have checked it until now.
Datlossit is not going to go back into Swamp. He's leaving at least one item behind there.
That's a really gutsy decision.
I don't think he went back to Big Chest, so I think he's leaving at least 2 behind. But I mean, that's the way he's been playing the seed so far. He's been doing a lot of gambling, so it's not completely surprising to see him gamble that.
I've been there myself. You know, you miss one item and then you have to come back for it later. It feels terrible, but, you know, in a tournament race position, they're in the top 64 at that. Yeah, you can feel like it's make or break on any one decision.
Well, I mean, on his side, he only needs the bow, and he's in go mode. I mean, both of our runners at this point, that's where they're at. So Elminster is doing some mirror checks in Meyer. Of just one mirror check, and he's going to go into Meyer.
Taking good care to kill the bird before he shows up, because Quake does nothing to flying types.
Yeah, that bird will just crash into you a couple times if you don't take him out first.
Well, there are only 2 items here in Misery Mire. We'll see if Elminster's able to collect both of them quickly, or if it's going to be a long cutscene we watch.
No, this is another good check for Dat. Going for Graveyard Ledge. Unfortunately, just a piece of heart.
I feel like I see a lot of progression there, usually. Mirror being a pretty good gateway to that.
Yeah, fortunately, nothing this time. I think we're almost through all of our overworld checks. There's not much left that we can look at. I think we got the tablets we can't check yet. Spike Cave, which I don't think is in Logic yet.
Yeah, we don't have an invincibility item, or, well, we have a bottle. I mean, we could still make it through there.
Looks like both runners are making the Meyer play.
I'm kind of curious about not checking Checkerboard Cave before, you know, diving into Mire, because, I mean, it's a very fast check, and if it happens to have that bow.
Actually, Dad's gonna check Desert first. A big key on the torch, so this was boots locked. Elminster finds the big key in that chest, but well, looks like he's not going for the cutscene room yet.
Yeah, we'd love to avoid that one. Certainly one of the longest cutscenes in the game, and in the randomizer, all the text and crystal cutscenes are taken out, so definitely the longest cutscene in the game. Oh, there it is!
Okay, at 1 hour 3 minutes, Elminster's in go mode.
Well, you found the D. It's time to rescue Zelda, I guess.
So, Dat could still be well in this race if he goes straight to Meyer after this.
And that's pretty likely, given that where he is. You know, he has a portal available to him. If not, he can just flute right over. Certainly quick to check through the rest of the desert here, but if he goes to Lammolis, this is a time sink for him. But just barely an hour into the seed, and Elminster has hit his go mode. That's incredible. Ooh, is that a spooky action setup? Or is that just muscle memory?
I'm not sure.
I don't think he lifted up the rock the right way with the bird earlier.
So Datlossit is going back to Dark World, but I think he's going to check Checkerboard first.
Oh, and that was actually a setup. So you'll also see a really nice glitch on Elm screen here, just to shoot through the wall with the fire rod splash. So you mentioned Checkerboard Cave. Datlossit here is going to check it for us. It was probably just Sync Heart.
A heart container, but he doesn't need it. He's got Quake out. He's going in the Mire.
Well, that's great news.
So the good news here for Dat is that this is a very close race, assuming he doesn't go through the cutscene room. Because he's already cleared Swamp. Elminster will be able to go mode it. But, I mean, this could be a very close race going into the end.
Yeah, and Elm had to do, Turtle Rock and finish Trinex based on how he routed it. So, I mean, that's a big time sink that puts Datlossit, very close as far as crystal progression goes. I mean, basically ahead of Dungeon right now by the time he gets through here.
The biggest thing is, that'll help Datlossit at this point, is he goes full right when he goes into pod. Because the big key and a small key were on that side.
Yeah, that'd be a really fast dungeon.
He has to pick up the bow first, but there's no reason to think he won't check that chest at a reasonable time.
Yeah, and it's pretty likely he would check it before the cutscene room, even though it's kind of out of the way to go that direction. It's definitely faster anyway. I think it could be argued that Elminster has more progression through his dungeons, but at the same time, any number of these, situations can come up where, you're go-moding and you just have trouble with a certain boss or trouble with a certain room. Hard to say, but it looks like an execution race from here on forward.
Yeah, exactly. It really is just going to come down to who can execute these dungeons better. And yeah, that's what we're basically going to see at this point. Now, the runners might elect to check some chests on the way, trying to find a tempered sword, but that's the only upgrade at this point they'd want.
Yeah, we already have our silvers, so I mean, regardless of the sword we end up with for Ganon, it's definitely a completable fight. But those first few phases of Master Sword are not fun.
And Datlossit is going for this chest. He's going to get his bow. He'll be in go mode like 3.5 minutes after Elminster.
Yeah, very close together. So with go modes all around, straight race to the finish, folks. I hope you're tuned in and hyped up, because I am.
Both runners have 4 crystal dungeons to get through. And then it's the climb of GT. Could easily come down to right side versus left side GT.
Well, having already done the rest of this dungeon, Elminster's jumping right to Helmasaur King, so we'll have a slight edge in total crystals collected after this. For maybe a minute?
If that. I mean, it looks like Elminster's in a slightly better spot, but I mean, he still has to go through Swamp Palace. That'll take a little bit between the cutscene to drain the water and all that. I mean, he'll go almost Swamp Palace, but it's still going to take him some time.
And Datlossit did skip left side, so that actually does save him some time compared to what it would have been otherwise. I mean, that's pretty much keeping him in this, isn't it?
Yeah. Datlossit went for the setup here, too. Unfortunately, didn't hit it, so he's got to take the extra seconds here. And of course, we don't have to worry about Ice Palace. I mean, both these runners will know the super fast way to clear that.
So there goes Helmasaur King, and we have Vitreous up for Datlossit with the silver arrows we saw with Elm. 0 cycle is pretty easy. Might get a 1 cycle here if that eyeball doesn't cooperate. Nope, 0 cycle. Very nicely done. For those of you tuning in, though, we just achieved go mode through the bow in Misery Mire.
So it's funny, both of their races so far in their best of 3 have had bow go mode. I wonder if when the bow was that last item they were looking for, if they were thinking, "Oh, not again."
Yeah, I mean, the reality had to sink in at some point. But thankfully for them, they have pretty much everything they need to be fast throughout these dungeons. You're going to notice an entire screen skipped by Elminster here by using the hook shot in Eastern Palace. Very nice to have. Meanwhile, Datlossit's jumping into Ice Palace, which is also a very fast go mode.
Yeah, very, very fast dungeon coming up here. He's not going to have to check any chests.
Yeah, that's a strange thing. I never really thought about it that way, but you really don't have to check any chests here.
You'll get 1 item from Cold Stare, that's it. there's the big key for Elminster. You can go to Armos Knights.
Yeah, it's a pretty convenient key configuration for this dungeon. He will check the big chest though. He's gonna do it to get the hook dash spin speed as well, or super speed, not spin speed.
Yeah.
Well, heading upstairs in Eastern Palace and Datlossit dropping downstairs in Ice Palace. It's a good thing that we're not casting this from an elevator, because we would be telling it on many different levels.
Very nice. Datlossit grabs his key. He's going to set up for his bomb jump. First try bomb jump, very nice.
Wow, that was so fast.
So, Elminster grabs his 5th crystal. He's got Swamp and Ice left.
So on the subject of that Armos fight, and you might be wondering, how is that so much faster than you normally see with silver arrows? There can only be one arrow on screen at a time. So if you time up your arrow shots, you know, with instead of spamming the item button, you can actually get as close as possible to those Armos Knights and kill them even quicker than you normally see. That's the fastest I've ever seen Armos done, honestly.
So Datlossit is heading towards Cold Stare.
Also, it's looking like check nothing strats here, unless they want to have their spirits tempered with a sword upgrade.
Quick setup. He's gonna get him in the corner. Oh, took a hit there. He does have 2 green potions, so if he wants to use one for extra fire rod shots, he can.
There's really not much of a better place to use it. I mean, how many other places are you really going to need magic besides again?
He's got to be very careful. Oh, he's gonna blow his blue potion. Yeah, he was down to 3 hearts, and those cold stare puffs do 4 hearts of damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up another potion on his way up to Gin's tower.
Well, that's his 5th crystal. He just has to do the Eastern pod combo. And for pod, if he goes through the bow side early, he'll save a lot of time.
Well, so we saw a good bomb jump from Datlossit. See if ElminsterRTA can do his Ice Palace bomb jump in 1 try, which would be really nice. It looks like he has a good setup.
Both of them got their bomb jumps first try. Datlossit's heading for pod. So Elminster, I look at the way this is going, I do think Elminster's going to have a slight lead going into GT, assuming nothing goes wrong. But it's not going to be much. Maybe a minute, if that.
I'm wondering if Datlossit's going to feel amazing about the Ice Rod if he finds it on the left side instead of going right. You know, just having chosen not to go to Trinex.
Well, he might. Let's see how he plays this. He also has the mirror, so that's going to help him a little bit too. Elminster did not have the mirror during his check.
Oh, if Elminster only had 2 more hearts, he could show us the patented sword strats here on Cold Stare, but with half magic Fire Rod, this should be pretty straightforward, I think. Faster Sword's always a little low on that damage.
Okay, that's a good sign for Dad. He looks like he's probably going to do the bow side before going to the back.
Wow, Elm only takes 1 heart of damage on that fight. And so, yeah, he hasn't gone to the right, or he hasn't gone to the back or the right. This is really that, you know, juncture where you decide, you know, which way you're going. And dropping down, it almost seems like he's going to take the warp here and then head to the right side, like you were mentioning before.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do, which is it's kind of the efficient way to route this. So that'll save him some time because he won't have to go into the back.
And of course, he doesn't have to set up the potion manipulation glitch either.
So Elminster still has to go through Swamp. Swamp is quick, but I mean, there's still cutscenes and stuff he has to do. So it's not super quick. Datlossit has his big key, he can head to Helmisar.
Talk about a convenient place to find it too, right before you drop off into the ledge going in there. Well, if you folks want a Game 3, this is definitely exciting to watch. This is still a really tight race, and Datlossit is going to be able to mirror straight to Eastern Palace after this.
Yeah, it is looking like Elminster is going to get into GT first, but it isn't going to be much of a lead, if any at all.
While we're waiting for our runners to go through some of the same things that each other has done, great opportunity to remind you, if you like what you're watching and you think they put on a good show for you, I'm definitely stoked from what I've seen today. Give these runners a follow. They've been put on a great show for us, and you know, you're definitely going to see a lot more Randomizer, whether it's this game or even other Randomizers from, I believe, both of these runners. So yeah, show us some love, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Elminster also races on the NMG side. I'm not sure about Datlossit if he does. But Datlossit is putting up some good strats here, so he at least has practiced some NMG strats, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't see him on the leaderboard, but I mean, a lot of people have been dabbling in it, and I'm curious to see if, based on the execution we've seen today from Datlossit, if he's considering picking it up. Definitely has some talent here. Well, Elminster's diving right to the back, of course, as we would expect. Definitely no sword upgrade unless it's in Ganon's Tower at this point.
These runners don't need a sword upgrade. Master Sword is enough, though the Tempered Sword upgrade is a big upgrade for the Ganon fight.
Well, we are down to the wire, 1 crystal for each of these runners. Elminster has a definitive advantage getting to his boss fight first, but Datlossit not really that far behind either.
Yeah, Eastern's not a long check.
Since there's some discussion about it in chat, just want to kind of highlight, if you had tuned in yesterday at the same time, you may have seen this race was supposed to have been Game 3 today. Instead, it was Game 2 because Elminster had a PC crash, and Datlossit graciously offered a rematch. So this is currently 1-0 in Elminster's advantage, and if there is a Game 3, it'll be happening, I believe, in a doubleheader. Is that right?
That's correct. It is scheduled for ALTTPR 2, like 30 minutes after this race finishes. But obviously we need to see who wins first. Elminster has Argus down, and he'll pick up his 7th crystal.
Well, that being the final crystal, care to tell our fans about a game we like to play?
Alright, there are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the Ganon's Tower big key. Get your guesses in chat, 1 to 22. Where do you think that big key will be? If you are a subscriber to the Speed Gaming Network, or have donated 250 bits or more, you are eligible to be entered into the leaderboard.
Yep, and if not, no worries. Just join in the fun anyway. We love to guess our odds at about a 4% chance of getting it right. Elminster getting dead rocked, unfortunately. Completely denied the drive-through strats, unfortunately. So, Brewers fan JP, where do you think we're going to find our big key today?
I always say chest 15, and I want us to not be a chest like early or late, because I want this race to come down to a left versus right decision.
I can appreciate that, and looks like we're pretty much a death mountain climb between these two runners, because this silver arrow fight's going to be very fast for Datlossit, so holy moly. I'm hoping for chest 14 myself. I'm a fan of Bob. Wow, talk about getting dead rocked.
So Elminster landed on Death Mountain at 1 hour 20 minutes exactly. Let's see when Datlossit lands on Death Mountain.
Jeez, minute and a half.
He's picking up a potion first. Gonna cost him like 10-15 seconds, but it is extra safety.
Yeah, and a death with a Master Sword Ganon would be catastrophic, so totally understand this play.
Looks like he's going to be about 1:40 behind Elminster.
Yep, right on the dot. And of course, we're cutting off those guesses, so go ahead and get your last ones in. Alrighty, first chest is going to be a big 20. Elm obviously going to the right side and gets his tempered sword.
Okay, so that is a very good pickup. And also no key, meaning that Elminster's going to have to go left. We have a toasty mushroom on the torch.
Yeah, is that a shiitake mushroom? What's the other really fancy, expensive one?
Portobello? No, portobellos aren't expensive.
But I mean, it's pretty delicious. So that's a portobello mushroom, not expensive but delicious, on top of the heat lamp there.
Maybe you're thinking of truffles.
Yes, exactly that. I hope you all ate before this stream.
Okay, that's 7. And, okay, looks like Elminster is going to take those keys and go right.
That's really interesting with 2 keys. A lot of folks will follow the logic that, hey, if I find like 4 keys, I should go right, but half of that, and Elminster's going to go to the right side, so this could be a really big play.
Could also be a big divergence here if Datlossit goes left and stays left. We shall see. Datlossit's going right first. He'll grab his tempered sword as well.
And I believe we established that was 7 items so far?
Yeah, 7 items so far on Elminster's side. Now, even if Datlossit does find the big key first, we will count Elminster's side.
Yep, he was the first to enter the tower.
Never mind, there it is. Chest 8.
As if to spite us, and then he gets the book. Oh, the powder! What a nice find!
Oh. So for Datlossit to stay in this game, he needs to mirror right after this Stalfos room.
The patience for Elminster there, I mean, perhaps his sword upgrade tempered his patience to the point where he would check those other chests, because powder, you know, you have the ability to heal in this Ganon's tower. Critical thing to have in this juncture. It actually makes that potion grab completely worthless unless he needs the magic for Datlossit.
And unfortunately, Datlossit is going to stay full left. This is going to give Elminster a major advantage. Race is not over by any means, but Elminster is taking a big lead right now.
Yeah, he's going to stutter step his way through Ganon Ball Z. Hopefully Datlossit has as good of a time in the next episode, but Elminster going to go get his heal here. Probably trying to secure. He might feel ahead. It's only an hour 25 minutes into the seed.
And he's going to turn off his silver arrows for now, so he can use his bow without lag. Or without as much lag, I guess.
Well, Datlossit going through the randomizer room right now with very interesting rupee count. Maybe he's feeling lucky. May not have counted the bullets in his chamber, though.
Well, Elminster is just breezing through this gauntlet.
Yeah, it's a
Pull back silver arrows for land molas.
And it's a lot easier to be confident when you take those that heal in the room in Ganon Ball Z, because I mean, having the full health here, you're just gonna breeze through everything. You're not worried about taking that straight hit or two. Also, looks like our runners are pretty well stocked as far as everything goes. We're not going to need more bombs. Elminster only has 11 arrows. We only need 4 for Ganon, so at this point, probably pretty cozy. Unfortunately for Datlossit, going to spend time a second Armos fight. Very quick one. Very nice Ice Armos at that, actually. I was pretty impressed by that. Wow, instead of Big Key in Vanilla location, it is Butter Sword in Vanilla location. Unfortunately for Datlossit, though, not a lot of time save involved with that Butter. Pretty much everything here in the tower is going to die to 1 hit from Tempered. That really matters to kill. Ganon is a little faster, but not significantly so with those silver arrows.
Elminster going to grab a fairy here. He is basically going to be a gauntlet ahead of Datlossit. At this point, basically, Elminster needs to fall a couple times for Datlossit to get back into this. There's the Big Key. He mirrors right away. He's going to be, I think, 3.5 minutes behind Elminster at this point.
Also, looks like Elminster opted to skip the Moldorm 2 chest, of course, because, there's really nothing you really want at this point anyway.
Yeah, with that Tempered Sword, you don't need anything else. You're in good shape going into this cannon fight. I mean, Elminster's used to doing the Ganon fight in green mail, so having blue mail is a luxury for him.
Well, plus, you don't want to get the vanilla Big 20 there either. It's just insulting. Also, Elminster's made his way through Ganon's tower, is ready to complete the seed. Datlossit's in the gauntlet now, has a lot of ground to catch up here. You may have been, a bit of a soothsayer, talking about left and right being, a pretty important distinction here.
Yeah, that's really what has decided a lot of this race, is Elminster's already in phase 2. Elminster, well, he did go left, but then he went right after the Stalfos room, got his Big Key, while Datlossit went full right, or full left, then went to the right. Elminster does have to be a little careful. He's down to 2 hearts. I don't think he has a fairy. I don't know if he has any health restoring here. Datlossit through Land Molus 2 as we get into the final phase of Ganon. Ooh, very close there. Gets narrow off, gonna get the torch relit. One more arrow.
And with that, the Whizpig is down.
And Elminster is going to take rounds. It's going to take this round of 64 matchup, finishing with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 22 seconds. He will move on to the round of 32, and let's see if we can, who he'll be facing next.
And of course, GG's in chat for our victor today. I'm also going to try and see if we can get Elminster in here for an interview. I think we'll hold off a moment while Datlossit finishes up on his end. Seeing as this was really close, we might as well pull them in at the same time.
It looks like Elminster will move on to face Zelda Dasan in the round of 32.
Oh, that'll be exciting. Oh, it looks like we actually are joined by Elminster. GG.
Hi, thank you.
So you couldn't get the sub 130, unfortunately, but it was a very fast seed. Holy moly, nicely done.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, it really came down to, well, I mean, you went into GT ahead by about a minute and a half. But what it really did come down to was left side versus right side GT.
Yeah, we talked about that a little.
So that puts you up in 2-0 in the series. How are you feeling about getting into the top 32? I mean, you know, feeling good about your next opponent, Zelda Dasan, or nervous? Anything about that?
Well, he seems to think I'm slated to win, as he's been, like, telling me welcome to top 16 throughout, like, the last 2 matches that I've done, but we'll see. I am happy that I made it to top 32 because that was my goal for this tournament. That was my ultimate goal, to do better than I did in the fall tournament. The fall tournament I placed 25th, and losing the round of 32 places you at 17th, so pretty much did what I wanted to do at this point.
Well, so given that, you know, we're moving on to the top 32, the schedule is going to be kind of strange for the next week or two. I believe we have 2 weeks for this next round, don't we?
Yeah, because of GDQ.
Are you attending, or, you know, you guys, you're going to try and get your matches in early?
I don't know what I'm going to do, really. It doesn't really matter to me since I'm not going.
So, when you had just the bow left to go, and you started searching for that, were you getting any flashbacks to your first race?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, because my game 3 against Scientee was also a bow search, and that was in the back of Pendant Swamp, which that was a stressful search. I actually feel like my game 1 of this, the bow wasn't quite as stressful as a search, because I felt like the game was really trying to tell me that the bow was behind hookshot, and hookshot, like, obviously back of Swamp, but I didn't see it there in game 1, so you know, GT, all of GT is also behind hookshot because Swamp's a crystal, so I figured it had a good chance of being there. This time was it was like, I don't know, it was weird, because I was like, oh, is Bo going to be in Swamp again? Because I've seen it in Swamp so many times lately. But
Holy!
it was...
Oh, that was a quad silver!
Oh my goodness! Wow!
Sorry, that was just, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth pointing out.
So apparently, if you were in the bottom right corner and you slash and you just mash, oh wow, I'm speechless.
You need a butter sword poke to be able to do that, because you have to fire the first arrow with your sword out.
What, based on the delay for each particular bow shot?
It's something like that. I mean, Datlossit, when he gets in here, he could probably explain better.
Yeah, he did finish the race with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 39 seconds.
And with that, despite us being speechless about that quad shot, we are joined by Datlossit here in the chat. GG, and oh my god.
Yeah, thank you. GG to you, Elminster. I'm not surprised I lost to you, but it was completely down to that Gans tower from the times, easily.
Yeah,
But
it was. I was kind of worried that like the biggest thing that might lose me the race was full clearing Turtle Rock.
I got the
Like-
fire on extremely early. Like as soon as I had Darkwood access, after some light work cleared up, I just went straight for Catfish, just banging on that. Maybe the third time the charm was gonna work, and there was the firework, which locked it pretty much everything: flippers, boots, and the mirror. I said to myself that as soon as I got Turtle Rock access, I just went, screw it, we're going to Turtle Rock. As soon as I got that sort of old man, I just routed to do Turtle Rock as soon as I could. Because I knew at this point I was in the bad position, I was not playing my best, so I knew I had to gamble no matter what. It was completely down to that.
Yeah, I had a feeling you might gamble leaving after maybe after Mirror, which would have been really bad for you, or maybe after Flippers, which would have been really good for you.
Yeah, I opted the full clear, going straight to Laser Bridge, despite not having Cape or Brian. As soon as I found 2 irons on the bridge, I just immediately bailed out. After that, I went into the swamp, skipped to the left side, which didn't pay out. My Argus fight was pretty bad as well, so I opted straight for Mire next, checking out Desert real quick as well, and that's when I found a bow and into go mode. I just went to myself, I completely skipped every single chest in the way. I did not care about Temper Sword in the slightest, not even the one quick chest in Ice Palace. I just went, screw it, I'm just gonna rush straight in and try to save as much time as I can, because I was really confident in going into Master Sword Gan at that point. And then the last 2 swords were in Ganon's tower, because I ended up full clearing Ganon's tower because I thought about doing Dark Magician, but I felt that since where I got the Fire Rod, I felt like I was in a okay position, so I opted to go for the full left side, and that just ended up backfiring. Because I found Buzzword afterwards after Ice almost.
Oh, okay, because that's yeah, I did Dark Magician, so
Yeah, that completely decided.
Yeah, and that butter sword is mentioned in the vanilla big key location. Kind of an interesting place to find it. After, I believe, in the last race, Elminster, didn't you use butter sword to kill Armos?
yeah, it's 6 slashes for each Armos, which is better than anything else that you would have at that point. The equivalents are Fire Rod and Ice Rod. They're also 6 hits. Birna, like any cane or level 1 damage is 12 hits. Tempered is also 12 hits.
It's all about the boomerang.
The Boomerang does 1 damage, it takes 48 hits each to kill them all, so it's about almost 300 hits total.
Easy peasy.
Otherwise, most of my fights were pretty bad this run. My blind was terrible. I messed up the strategy I was going to go for, so I had to pop a blue potion. I still nearly died. Cold wasn't good. Bitches was I barely saved. Again though, I just used Bug Nano, because at that point you got done just as I was climbing the tower. But that Ganon though, that Ganon, I'll take that over losing, seriously.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, despite this being, your exit from the tournament at Datlossit, what a crazy way to go out. I think you made everybody, all of their jaws drop with that quad silver, and, it just goes to show how much talent we have in this tournament. We're in the top 64, and we're still, chock full of it, so I have to imagine that, the continuing round is going to be even more exciting. But I wanted to ask you, Datlossit, do you intend to enter in the tournament later on this year?
Yeah, I suppose I would. I'll probably have to de-rust beforehand, but I'll definitely probably try to enter the next tournament. I'd say 24th, top 24 in this tournament though. Like that is still a really good place to go out from. Out of over 500 players that were in this, I'll take it. But no shame to losing you, Elminster. You are a really good player at this game, as well as with Metroid and others. I'm not surprised in the slightest that I lost to you. I kind of saw it from a mile away, but I'm still glad we both put on a really great show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've definitely been like at least a little bit worried going into each bracket match. Like you can't really mess around in them against anyone. Like and it's like the pairings, because the pairings are randomized too. It's like it kind of depends how many dangerous people are immediately in your bracket or like a few steps away from you in a bracket. So some people are going out in top 128 that are like still really, really good in their own right, and depending on who else they get matched up on, they could have done better or worse.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. You got a really tough lineup ahead of you. You got so many good opponents down the line. If there's one thing I like from you, get revenge on K Macau for me, because he was the only one that beat me in Swiss. That's my only favor.
Wait, who?
Otherwise, GG to you.
Who did you lose to?
I lost the game in Macau because it was down to Ice Road. We
Oh,
downloaded
okay.
two different dungeons, and I made the wrong choice.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. So funny thing, GamerCal and I faced in the final Swiss round of the fall tournament. So that was my 4-2. That was my win into groups, and I knocked him into the 3-3 tiebreaker. So if we end up matched up again, that would be interesting.
Yep, getting a rematch against you two, that'd be great.
I think if we like, we'd have to face off in like round 5 quarterfinals.
Yeah, you got
something like
lots of tough people down the line. Like you got like Willard, possibly you got like Gemini as well. Jen's gonna be.
I've got PKR. I have to deal with that. But yeah.
Yeah, we are getting to the point where these matchups are getting tougher. They're looking ahead after the winner of Elminster versus Zelda coming up now will have to face off against the winner of Pinky, Rose, and Willard. So I don't know how you'd like to see that play out, but I mean, you got to take care of your own stuff first, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I did say I made it to where I wanted to in the tournament. This was my goal, and could go further. We'll see, but I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, my only goal in general was to reach the brackets, but I was not expecting to reach at least the top 64. I still consider that an amazing feat. You, on the other hand, making the 32 is really something else.
Also, I'm not sure if I have any other questions I wanted to ask. Brewers fan JP, do you have anything else you wanted to talk with them about? I'd like to announce some races otherwise.
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I mean, GG to Elma moving on to the round of 32, and good race there. Dat, unfortunately, the entry tournament, but still, very good effort there today.
Also, on the schedule today, though, if you're looking for more randomizer, we're actually running pretty close to a point where we don't have 24/7 rando, surprisingly. But right now on ALTTPR randomizer, you do have Thalane versus McLagging coming up as the doubleheader. They're currently in their first match. They'll have another one starting by 6 p.m. Other than that, though, there are no other matches for today. Sunday, tomorrow, is going to be pretty packed in the schedule as well. Plenty of matches there. And as this tournament winds down, we'll finally be slowing down a little bit. Having some more, I guess, primetime matches, you want to call it that.
Yeah, I know coming up tomorrow morning, we've got a Game 3 between Sonicam and ALG Andy. That'll be a very hype one to watch. We have a bunch of Game 3s, I think, scheduled for tomorrow, so kind of the schedule is up in flux until those Game 2s are played. Yeah, definitely keep an eye on the schedule for all the action.
As for on the Speed Gaming networks, though, we do have Legends of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Speed Gaming 1. Speed Gaming 4 will have Nier Automata. Probably said that wrong. And Speed Gaming 4 in about 30 minutes or so. And then we do have an interactive race in Speed Gaming 1 later on at 6 p.m. Alongside Luigi's Mansion, Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, and Wings of Vi. So plenty to watch on all of these channels today, although Randomizer kind of winding down a little bit for today. With that, though, definitely want to shout out everybody behind the scenes making this happen. I believe, who do we have for tracking today? I never even checked the name.
It's Cassidy Moen, who is our tracker for today.
Thanks, Cassidy Moen, for taking care of that today, and you did a fantastic job keeping up with all of the craziness of this seed. Definitely had a lot of diversions, so appreciate you being on key with that. And of course, Brewers fan JP for joining me on commentary and dealing with my mic issues at the beginning.
Yeah, no problem. It was good working with you.
With that, though, any last things you wanted to share with your fans out there, Elminster?
No, I think I'm good. Maybe
And
next time.
Datlossit. Alrighty, with that then, I think we'll close this out then. I've been Uday Monistic, joined today by Brewers fan JP, and folks, we'll see you next mission.
Have a good day, everybody.